Hello and welcome back to Warsword Conquest, and Lizardo brings the pain, and he's ready. He is very, very ready. I now have this sword. Never mind. I thought I was going to swivel him for a second there. Never mind. Anyway, I have this sword that you can see on his back there. Unfortunately, I can't swivel him right now on this screen, but yes. He has that sword which allows him to eliminate mounts instantaneously, and it also has a 16% passive chance to instantly kill anything that it comes into contact with, which I am very, very happy about. Now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to be speccing into some more... I'm kind of thinking right now that we want to go for Constitution here. I know that sounds really, really dumb, but I really don't want to take a huge amount of time to regenerate my HP, so I'm going to go to 7. I'm going to go to a whole 7 Constitution, which generally is maybe not the best idea, but yeah, anyway. You remember how the Arabi had taken back Tanis and had taken back El Shamab Fortress? I obviously took those back. They were very, very easy to take back. Tanis literally only had about 40 people in, and El Shamab Fortress had about 120, which was really not that big a deal, obviously. That was very, very simple. So we're now going to refocus our efforts, because I actually know for a fact that there are a lot of LIZARDMAN vassals. Really, really proud of them, actually, for this. But there are a bunch of LIZARDMAN vassals really, really close by to that area, and they actually were standing right outside Tanis for the most part. And you know what that means? That means I don't have to do much. That means I could just leave it, and they can do, they can do the defending and all that wonderful stuff. Because the funny thing is, I did actually stay at Tanis for a couple of days and just kind of, well, maybe a couple of hours. I'm actually not entirely sure how long, but I did stay there for a little bit of time because, well, there was zero defense. And I was like, okay, probably need to do that, probably need to do a little bit of defending myself. And so that's what I did. And yeah, it actually seems to have worked out very, very nicely. So yeah, we did have a couple of people try to actually recapture it, but that didn't really do much, obviously, because funnily enough, as I was waiting for them to initiate their siege attack, a bunch of LIZARDMAN came out of nowhere. Yeah, a bunch of LIZARDMAN came out of nowhere, and they basically made it so that we didn't have to actually be there anymore. And they chased them off, and yeah, very, very pleased about that. What is actually going on with the... whoa, what is going on with the lag right now? That is kind of crazy. Okay, I'm actually wondering whether those are the Screaming Skull Throwers causing that problem, but yeah, I'm not sure. That shouldn't be happening, to be honest, because... Okay, that's kind of weird. Warsword Conquest has never really given me any issues beforehand, but maybe it's something to do with my recording or whatever, but yes, my apologies for that nevertheless. But yeah, anyway, we are just going to cleave through these enemies extremely, extremely easily, and you can see here, I'm basically taking 0 damage, because these guys just... Okay, I'm going to say it right now. I think Tomb Kings need some form of magical assistance, maybe. I'm obviously not entirely sure whether that is the case, but I'm kind of just surmising at the moment, because whenever, when we were in that battle a long time ago, you remember that time that we actually got attacked by a Tomb King's vassal, and I said to you, we're going to get revenge on that particular person. I think his name was Arkan, wasn't it? Wasn't it something like that? I think his name was Arkan or something. And in general, he absolutely destroyed us. Arkan the Black, I believe his name was. Yeah, I think so. Something like that. And, yeah, he was insane. Like, he had extremely, extremely powerful troops. And he had some wonderful, wonderful spell casting and everything. And that generally made things extremely difficult. It made things very, very difficult for us. And so, in general, I think that, yeah, the Tomb Kings have extremely strong magic. But if you take that away... maybe that's where the weaknesses start to shine through, as it were. Alright, so there we go. I actually managed to kill... Wow, that's hilarious. I managed to kill 69. Yes, that's rather nice, isn't it? Yes, anyway, there we go. We were able to do that. I'm actually going to be taking every single Tomb King that I can prisoner. And we're also going to be releasing a bunch of these undead captains. I don't feel like there's really a necessity to keep them here. I'm actually not entirely sure. I think they might join other factions. But I don't really want to keep them. Wait. Can I actually release them? You're free to go. Okay, where does he go? That's the question. Where does he go now? We don't know. We don't know. What is his name? Undead Captain James Vane. Alright, okay, let's have a look here. So, Undead. So he's going to start with a U. There we go. Undead Captain, there he is. He is a vassal of the Undead Pirate Kingdom, as you can see right here. Uh-huh. Okay, well that's rather interesting. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what to make of that, because that was a bit of a test, and I'm going to see what happens. Maybe we're going to see him crop up, and maybe he'll, you know, recreate the Undead Pirate Kingdom or something like that, which would be not exactly nice. But, yes. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Ooh, okay, we have our first siege tower. Our first siege tower. I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan. I don't like siege towers, but, you know, Warsword Conquest might do things a little bit differently here. You come across a large pile of old bones lying in a heap at the side of the track. A local remarks how strange it is that the pile contains human, animal, and goblin remains. Do you investigate the pile further? Yes, let's investigate it. You start to remove the outer bones, only to reveal a great web of bones of all shapes and sizes on the inside. You see a decent-sized hole amongst the bones and reach in and find some gold. 50? Are you serious? Okay, that's quite funny. I gotta say, that is quite funny, because we literally were just like, yeah, okay, oh, look at this, look at what we found right here. And then it turns out that we found 50 gold, which is obviously, like, no offense right now, but what I find quite funny about that is that is probably the lowest amount of gold that we could get. That is basically not even worth it. Not even worth it at the beginning of the game either. So that's a bit strange. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that, but it's a nice event nevertheless. It is a very nice event. It's just unfortunate that it was so minuscule for us at this point. And it would have been nice if it was about, you know, 500 maybe, you know, just because in general, if you're getting that event at the beginning of the game, then 500 gold is actually not a bad amount, you know, be able to keep you going for a little bit of time. And indeed, it would probably do quite well in general for a number of reasons. I'm not entirely sure if it's even possible really to scale events as the game goes on. I'd highly doubt it because of the way that Warband is coded in general, you know, the base game. But who knows, you know, maybe it could be cool, because like at the beginning of the game you could literally get, you know, 500 gold from it at the beginning, and then you know, I don't know, 6 months of game time later it could increase to 1500, you know what I mean? And then when you get that event again in the future, maybe let's say you get it at day 600 or something, then it's worth like 6,000. And I'm obviously just, you know, this is just random thoughts on my part, and isn't really a serious suggestion, because I don't actually know whether that is implementable at all whatsoever. So this is just me, you know, kind of thinking, ooh, that would be nice, but as I say, I highly doubt that that is possible due to the way that Warband works. But yes, anyway, this siege tower is going to take a while to get to the walls, and we're then hopefully going to be able to exterminate these Tomb Kings. Well, it's rather unfortunate for me, but I wasn't actually able to get onto the siege tower before my forces were, and so we basically have to now just kind of, you know, wait for them to actually get in there. But I actually wanted to talk about something here, because funnily enough, you know how I was talking about how, you know, spells and all that stuff basically, you know, we're carrying the Tomb Kings and making them much more effective than they would be without. I mean, obviously that's basically a no-brainer. Pretty much every single spell that I've seen so far in Warsword Conquest has been extremely powerful and very, very good in pretty much every way. However, while we did have spells in this particular siege, and the enemy was using them, we actually ended up losing a lot of Croxigors. We lost quite a few Crox. Look at this. We got 10 deaths. 10 deaths in this one siege. And that's actually super funny because when we were fighting against the Arabi, we lost pretty much, as you know, we lost basically pretty much no one because they didn't really have any spellcasters to speak of. They seemed to not really have a super harsh amount of people that could actually deal damage. And that was pretty crazy, actually, you know, to think that you can actually take a fief without taking any damage. But obviously, that might be the siege tower effect, you know what I mean? That's the reason why I don't really like the siege towers that much, because they do generally tend to create a rather one-sided sort of thing going on with the defense, you know. Obviously, we were still able to take this because we are indeed, you know, obviously outmatching the opponent dramatically in regards to all of our troops, but I still have to say that the fact that we even lost anyone, I mean, that's a big deal. That is a big deal, because obviously, as you saw, we did take a number of other things in the not too distant past, and look at it. We actually lost so many that I no longer have 250. I now have to level up some people, and that's actually pretty harsh. So yeah, okay, we're gonna have to do something about that. Okay, so wait a minute, isn't there, oh, wait a minute, did they take that back? No. Wait a minute, I saw something actually come under siege. Oh, what? What? This has been taken? Okay, wait a minute, when did that happen? It must have been when I was over here. It must have been when I was over here. Wow, okay, the Lizardman, okay, never mind, I've got an apology to make. The Lizardmen have apparently done something without needing me to hold their hands through it. And I'm actually very pleased about that. Oh, I am so pleased about that. That is extremely nice. Okay, that means that maybe I can actually do a little bit more here. Maybe I can actually push forward a bit more aggressively than we would otherwise need to. I kind of want to get these guys outside, because I don't really want to face the Grand Liches inside the walls, if you know what I mean, because if we have to face those guys, bad things are going to happen. But, well, I'm just pleased that I have my wonderful two-handed sword here, because this two-handed sword is going to make these serpents, well, a walk in the park, a cakewalk, whatever you want to call it, basically. It is going to be extremely easy for us now, because look at this. Boom, instant kill. Yeah, I mean, not the fact that I'm killing the Necropolis Knights instantly, but I can actually just kill the mount, and then I don't have to worry about any cavalry whatsoever. So I'm basically eliminating their entire advantage, and that's the reason why I personally think that this weapon is maybe, just maybe, the most powerful weapon you can get if you're using a two-handed in the game. Just purely because it has the ability to bring those people down. It literally just kills mounts instantaneously. And if you're playing with cavalry, or should we say, let me just rephrase that for a real quick second. If you're playing against cavalry, and let's say you're playing infantry focus, archer focus, or even a cavalry focus, I mean, to a certain degree, that's obviously going to make a big difference too, but let's just say you're playing, I don't know, infantry or archer focused. You can easily just go ahead, by yourself or with a contingent of your own troops or whatever, and you can basically just kill as many of the enemy's cavalry as possible, and that will literally carry your entire battle from that point on. Because what's going to happen is you're going to bring them all off their mounts if you don't kill them outright, obviously, because I did actually do quite a lot of damage to those guys. But it's, wow, okay, we actually rescued someone? Okay, we actually rescued someone. That's interesting. I didn't actually realize that that was even happening, but there you go. But yeah, anyway, the point is, being able to basically bring the enemy cavalry to their knees, pretty much, and removing their entire advantage, especially considering Tomb Kings. I know for sure that these Tomb King cavalry, they're pretty strong, especially the serpents. They can be extremely, extremely powerful. And being able to just eliminate that completely, that's wonderful. That is literally one of the best things that you can possibly do. And that's the reason why I personally think that this is an amazing, amazing weapon. Probably, as I say, probably one of the best, if not the best weapon in the entire mod. Which I have to say is a bit strange for me to say because there are so many really, really good mods. I mean, mods. Yeah, that's true too. Okay, that's true too. But there are so many really, really good weapons in Warsword Conquest. And I don't even mind about getting knocked off my mount here. That's absolutely fine. I really don't have a problem with that. The main reason why I don't have a problem with that is because we are absolute beasts. I don't have to worry about anything right here. I can basically just run away from these guys if I want to as well. And we're just going to hit that Necropolis if we can. The Necropolis Serpent, get that, oh no, come on now. Get out of here. Don't bother me. Oh dear. Okay, I'm going to have to take a healing potion right here. Whoa, yeah, that mummy actually hit me for an insane amount of damage. Did you see that? Yeah, that was crazy. I think the mummy actually did that damage, not the other guys. Because the mummy is actually running around with this massive two-handed axe, and you can see here that they seem to have been buffed. Their attack speed seems to have been buffed, and mummies, as we know, they're very, very hard to kill. They have a lot of strength, they have a lot of damage behind them. And they're getting buffed. They're getting buffed. As you can see, look at this. Look at these buffs going on right here. They're getting all kinds of crazy buffs, and I think that's the main thing. The vassal in question that we're fighting right now, he is actually a spellcaster. And I think that's actually also making the difference. Because without him, I think we probably would have already killed the spellcaster in question, potentially. But as you can see, look at this. We lost another 18. We lost another 18. And it just goes to show that the Tomb Kings are far and away, or at least it seems like that, are far and away the stronger faction in comparison to the Arabi, which is a bit strange to me, to be honest, because they, you know, the Arabi, they do have the Sand Wraiths. And from my perspective, I always felt like the Sand Wraiths were actually pretty dangerous because they do have regeneration, they have the ability to just basically murder you very, very quickly. And obviously the Tomb Kings, they have these Ushabti units, and they're big units and things like that. I'm not entirely sure what they actually do because I haven't actually used them before, but I'm going to assume they have pretty much similar things. You know, ignore pain. They've probably got some form of regeneration, maybe, but I don't know that for certain. So anyway, I will accept that offer, why not? And are they actually going to take any of these back? That is actually under siege. You know what? I'm going to go over there. Oh, yeah, of course you did, you absolute imbecile. What? Why is this guy right here? Look at him. Why was he right here? What an absolute imbecile. Oh, I can't believe it, actually. I cannot believe it. Okay, yeah, well let's just go over here then. And apparently they have just literally left. Okay, so they left Kasaba by itself. Okay, never mind, I'll take it back now. I'll take back my thoughts on the Lizardmen actually doing something cool, because apparently they didn't even bother garrisoning it, or they garrisoned it so incredibly minimally that it isn't really going to do anything. So that's a little bit disappointing, I have to say, but well, you know, it's Warband AI, right? You know, I mean, Mountain. Let me just rephrase that. It's Mountain Blade. UI AI. Yes, that's it. It's Mountain Blade AI rather than, you know, Warband, because, you know, the AI in both games is a little bit iffy. So there you go. Anyway, I am actually going to die here, I think. You know what I want to do? I actually want to Never mind. Yeah, that's what happens, you see. That's what happens when they have these Lich Priests. The Lich Priest actually caused me to take more damage, as far as I'm aware. Yes, nearby allied troops are weakened. I mean, Soul Blight, I think, just reduces the damage that we do. But as you can see, look at how much damage we're doing right now. We're basically doing nothing. And the only reason why we are even living, or should we say, quote-unquote, living, because we're not really living that fast, are we? I mean, look what's happening right now. We are, we're dying. As you can see, look at this. We're dying, and it's not particularly good. I'm actually thinking about retreating right now. Should I? I'm thinking right now that maybe we will. Amethyst High Lich Priest. You see, that's the those are the main problems that I'm having right now. We have to deal with those Lich Priests. They're the ones that are causing us the biggest headache. I have no idea where they are, though. That's the funny thing. Very annoying, isn't it? Yes, well, my forces are actually getting onto the battlements now, so I guess that's kind of nice, but unfortunately, as you can see, look at my Croxigors. They're getting killed. They're getting killed. It is so sad to see them get killed like that, but, well, again, you know, there's not much I can do about that. We just have to kind of, you know, take our punches, and if bad things happen, then bad things happen. Okay, wait a minute. They just used Soul Blight again. Where is that Lich Priest? Ah, there he is. You see him? Is that him? Yeah, that looks like him, doesn't it? That looks like him. He looks very regal, doesn't he? Okay, yeah. They also cast a bunch of things that allow them to cheat death and stuff like that, which obviously makes a huge difference to their overall stagnation of our, you know, of our forces, because they can basically just, you know, keep them there, and that's gonna be a pretty big deal, because if you can delay, this is actually something that is I'm not going to say talked about enough, because let's face it, you know, Warband and so on and so forth, and Mounted Blade in general isn't really like a meta-ish, you know, live service game or anything like that, so there's no real need to, you know, talk about it from that perspective. But the fact is, it is extremely powerful to just delay enemies, and indeed, if the enemy can delay you, that is also a very significant advantage, and that's a very underrated thing. Obviously, very much depends on your circumstances, situation, so on and so forth. Sometimes delaying an enemy is much worse than not, but on the whole, if you can delay an enemy from supplying reinforcements, for example, if you can delay an enemy from being able to get over to defend a siege, if you can, you know, run interference between a vassal and your own allied armies, for example, that's also fantastic, because you generally, and this is actually kind of a funny, shall we say, a funny analysis of that, you as the player in Warband, and I'm going to say that Warsword Conquest has done a very good job at actually changing the AI as much as they can, and in general, quite a few mods attempt to do so, and in general, they have actually done a very good job. I'm going to give every single member of the modding community props for that, because, let's face it, that's the reason why we're still playing, right? That is the reason why we're still playing Warband, because it's absolutely amazing what they've been able to do. And yeah, anyway, so what I'm saying is, you as the player are basically trying to minimize the AI being a bit of an idiot. That's what you're generally trying to do. And I know that sounds really kind of like a little bit bare bones, or shall we say a little bit, maybe a little bit too cynical? Is that a little bit too cynical for me to think that? I don't know. For me personally, I don't think that's too cynical, but, you know, it very much depends on who you are and your perspective on that whole thing. But in general, I feel like that is most of the time what we are doing. We are generally trying to minimize the AI making mistakes, and in general, that seems to be our job almost all the time. That's the reason why I actually felt it was a very cool thing. Oh, they're actually besieging this thing down here. I should probably go down there, shouldn't I? But yeah, that's the reason why it's actually a really cool thing that Warsword Conquest added in a new feature in the dungeons. I personally feel like dungeons are super fun. They are super cool, really fun to go through, very enjoyable. They really, you know, mix up the gameplay, because then you don't have to, you know, you don't have to constantly battle against your own AI, and you don't have to battle against the enemy's AI either. And I'm actually going to be telling my forces just to charge in here. I'm literally just going to tell them to charge in. There is no reason for us to wait. We can literally just go for it and just absolutely murder everything that we need to. But yeah, that's the thing. Because whenever I'm doing a playthrough of either game, whether that's Warband, Bannerlord, whatever, usually what I'm going to think to myself is, okay, you know, when we get to this stage, right? When we get to this stage, not before, but when we get to this stage where we kind of have to do a lot of sieges, a lot of field battles, I'm actually very pleased that we got into a siege defense here as well. I actually very much enjoy doing siege defenses when we have the ability to defend properly. But when we get to this stage, it's really all about kind of seeing what your AI is doing and then trying your hardest to either support their efforts or to, shall we say, sabotage the enemy's efforts. And that's pretty much what you gotta do. If you don't do that, you're going to be having some big issues, because you're obviously going to then have an issue with, well, your AI making silly maneuvers. Like, for example, let's say that you have an enemy. I'm just going to release all these guys because they don't seem to be doing anything bad. Yeah, I'm going to keep these, though, just until their factions get eliminated. But, yeah, so anyway, let's just say that you're trying to run interference, right? Because obviously there are a number of reasons why you would want to run interference. And this is another extension of my thought process regarding the topic of delaying, right? Delaying the opponent. It's extremely important to do that. However, in the battle map, and I'm talking about the world map here, right? In the world map, this is very important to do. So, you know, for example, you see a vassal that's running to a certain location, you attack them, you eliminate them from contention, and then you don't have to worry about them for a little bit of time. And then if you can do the same thing, you know, a handful of times, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even 10 times, maybe even more than that, you'll probably have a pretty good shot of actually being able to take a fief, or doing something like that. I'm obviously talking about the very beginning of your conquest journey. I'm not talking about, you know, when you're an absolute monster already, you know what I mean? But just when you're first beginning, sometimes you want a little bit of assistance from your AI friends. Like, let's say that you are a vassal or something like that, and you want a little bit of help, or in general, maybe you just want to assist, you know, you just want to assist your faction in taking things. And maybe you don't really care about gaining your own fiefs. Like, I personally don't care about gaining my own fiefs at the moment, even though it actually would make a huge difference to me, because I'd be able to get a war academy up and running. And let's face it, the amount of time that it takes to train, or shall we say, yeah, train, but also to build a war academy, it takes, as far as I'm aware, around 100 days. If I recall correctly, I think it takes around 100 days to build a war academy. That's obviously if you have a very low engineering skill, I think. But don't quote me on that, because yeah, I haven't actually, gotten hold of a town or anything like that in this particular playthrough. But it would be pretty cool if we could actually test that out. But well, as you can no doubt see, these guys are deciding not to give me any fiefs. I obviously haven't asked for any fiefs, so maybe I'm going to ask for this one. Should we ask for this one? I think that sounds like a pretty cool idea, considering this is out in the desert somewhere, and you know, maybe it's going to be left alone for a little bit of the time. But anyway, returning to the original point, it's all about strategy, obviously. You know, that particular portion of the game is all about strategy, but it is, in fact, about babysitting, right? It's about babysitting your own AI and making sure that they make as few mistakes as possible. And I don't really like, you know, using that term, you know, babysitting, because it kind of implies that the AI can't really do anything without you. And To a certain degree, that is actually the case. That is actually accurate. However, I know for a fact that the AI can and has been extremely effective at times. Like, for example, you saw me, just exclaim all kinds of things just now when I realized that the LIZARDMAN AI had actually taken this town. And it's so strange because sometimes they act as though they are the most useless things in the entire world, and other times they act as though they are, Sun Tzu himself, basically. They just go like, oh yeah, I'm an absolute strategic genius right here. And, I have the wrath of 1,000 suns under my command. And they always seem to do something weird like that. They always seem to just go deep into enemy territory and take something. And it's so mind-boggling that happens. But it's wonderful when that happens. And I just wish it would happen more often, you know what I mean? I wish that kind of thing would just go, yeah, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. And I wish the AI would be a little bit more proactive in that sense. For certain factions, of course, because obviously other factions, I mean, I don't know whether you've seen, I probably haven't shown you, but the world map looks very different than how it looked at the very beginning, obviously, because we've got a bunch of factions fighting each other and everything, and I'm actually going to show you the Skaven. I'm going to show you the Skaven after this particular siege, and I'm going to, we're just going to talk about the fact that the Skaven AI has actually done an extremely good job, and it's so funny because sometimes they suck, right? Sometimes they absolutely suck, and other times they are amazing, and I just don't understand what actually causes that. I guess it's just kind of random where they decide to go, what they decide to do, and all that stuff, and it's just amazing actually to see that. That's the reason, I guess, why Warband and Bannerlord to a certain degree as well has that kind of draw, because then you think, oh, what's going to happen this time? What is going to happen with the AI? Is that actually going to, is the AI actually going to have the ability to help me this time? Are they going to do something a little bit different this time? That sort of thing. But anyway, we'll just take this. I actually need food. Yes, I actually need food, so it's actually kind of nice that we are here. I'm going to be requesting that this town be awarded to me. Thank you. One of our companions actually just gained the Ignore Pain skill as well, which is very nice. So hopefully that's going to work out for them. And I'm just going to sell that. There we are. Ooh, yeah, we have not a lot of food. It's a little bit unfortunate. I'm kind of a bit worried about that, actually, but oh well, never mind. Is there anything else in here, actually? We got a Revered Guardian, we got a couple of Skinks, a Scar Veteran. Nah, it doesn't seem like there's actually anything in here at all, but I am going to be waiting here for some time, because this is indeed going to be my new fief. If they decide to give it to me, I'm pretty sure that he's going to give it to me, right? I mean, why wouldn't he? Because I've literally been, basically trying to take pretty much everything. I've been capturing things left, right, and center, and I have not asked for anything in return. And now I'm asking for the, I think, second time, because the first time I asked him for a castle and he declined, I think. Did I ask him for a castle? Yeah, I think I asked him for a castle and he said no. And I was kind of expecting that, actually, to a certain degree. But now I'm kind of thinking to myself, yeah, you know what? You better give me this, You better give me this. Anyway, so let me show you the Skaven, because I almost forgot about that. So the Skaven have actually gone... Oh, never mind. That's what a classic, eh? What a classic. That's generally what tends to happen when I want to try to make a point here, but... Oh well, never mind. Okay, what is actually going to happen now? These guys are going to take 10,000 years to get over here. They're going to want us to die from old age, I guess. That's... Ah, no, here we go. There we go. There they are. Okay, that's fine. Maybe they're going to be coming here and, well, we'll see what happens, I guess. I'm just going to We'll just see what happens. I'm just gonna stand here because I don't think I can actually get onto the front lines and actually do anything. I mean, the ladder is here, and as you can see, every single person wants a piece of these guys. You know what? I'm just gonna jump out here and we're gonna do some damage. Yes, we're gonna do some damage. I'm actually kind of just antsy to get some combat in here, and one of my forces somehow got out here. I don't actually understand how he even did that. I must assume that he spawned in on the battlements, on the sort of like edge of the battlements, and he just fell out. Because I did not order him out here, but I decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go and assist him. And as you can see, he lived somehow. That's funny. So there you go. All right, that was actually quite fun. That was actually quite fun. I usually do like siege defenses, but only if I can get a little bit of action myself, you know, because otherwise it's a little bit, you know, a little bit boring. But you know, I very much appreciate getting some little bit of combat in there. Anyway, okay, so I'm not going to let the game run now so that I actually have a chance to talk about the Skaven here. But as you can see, look at what they've done. They have actually expanded out into Wood Elf territory along with the Beastmen. And as you can see, the Beastmen and the Skaven have been preying upon the Wood Elves so dramatically that the Wood Elves only have one fief remaining. Actually, two fiefs remaining. Never mind. Two fiefs remaining. But that is a significant loss because they literally have lost 1, 2, 3 superior fiefs, right? These are really, really good fiefs. Actually, maybe 4 even. And that is a big deal, right? That is a hugely, hugely big deal. Also, the dwarves. Have you noticed what's happened to the dwarves? Look at what's going on with them. They have 1 fief remaining. And this is what is staggering to me. I'm always so, I don't even know. I'm always so kind of shocked or surprised about how the AI can sometimes act. Because sometimes they are so incredibly bad at what they do, and other times they are so incredibly proficient. Like, for example, look at the Realm of Chaos right now. The Chaos are actually eliminating the entirety of Kislev. Kislev only has 2 fiefs remaining. Look at that. They only have 2 fiefs remaining, and they're actually losing another one. Look at that. It's actually under siege right now. So they're basically done. The dwarves are basically done. The orcs are actually almost done as well, because they only have, well, I mean, they do have quite a few things left. I mean, they have their main city, so I suppose that's okay. But they have lost one of their major places. Let's see how the Dark Elves are doing. The Dark Elves seem obviously pretty fine. The Chaos Dwarves are pretty fine. Britannia is pretty fine as well. And, well, obviously the Skaven are doing very well. But it's just funny, isn't it? It's just super, super funny how this is the kind of thing that can happen. And that's the reason why I wanted to talk about how it is to be the player in a game like this. You are directly influencing the AI on a small scale. And I'm talking about small scale most of the time, not a large scale. Because look at what's happened to the rest of the factions around these places. The Wood Elves are dead, Dwarves are dead. The Kislev are almost going to be dead. I mean, you know, well, Wood Elves and Dwarves are almost dead as well. But you know what I mean? They're basically out of it. They're basically gone. The Arabi, obviously, we had a significant impact on that. The Undead Pirates, obviously, we had a significant impact on them too. But I'm talking about the wider stance here. Most of the time, if you would let one of these games run for, you know, 200 days or something, not much would change. At least from my experience, I don't know. Yeah, but that's the reason why I do find those time lapses quite interesting as well, where someone just lets the game run for, you know, 1,000 days or something and sees exactly which faction comes out on top. But the funny thing about that is that generally it is a bit random. Sometimes the same faction can win multiple times. Other times it is just completely random and one faction can just take over everyone else without really trying. And it can be a different faction every single time, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Sorry for the ranting and discussions and talking about things. I find that interesting. I'm sorry if you don't. But anyway, we have only a very small amount, actually quite a significant amount, but I'm downplaying it a little bit right now. A small amount of the yes, small amount of the Tomb King's territory to retake, and hopefully we'll be able to get that done in the next episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.